DALI got into the headphones business about 10 years ago. So we of course started to look at how can we do something different. We did not just want to go to the Far East and pick a product off the shelf and stick our logo on it. So the way we are actually looking at a headphone as a set of loudspeakers for your head. Now, since 2019, we've actually taken in all the learnings from the IO-4 and 6, what can be improved, what is good as it is, into the IO-12, which is our latest hi-fi headphone.
It's completely new electronics compared to the IO-6 and IO-4. It's a new Bluetooth chip, and it's one ANC and DAC converter for each channel, instead of having a common IC for both channels. By having two channels, you could think it would actually produce or use more power consumption, but it's actually the other way around, that it's using less power consumption than our older IO-4 and IO-6.
But starting to look at the drive units in headphones was like a real surprise for us, that there were commodities, even in expensive headphones. And like when we do a loudspeaker or when you do cooking, you have to start with the finest ingredients. In our case, the drivers.
We selected the 50mm driver to get the best possible sensitivity and the best possible sound quality. Yeah, we are limited by the battery voltage, of course, and the voltage that the amplifier can create. So when we wanted to play the very small details in the music reproduction, we want it to be possible at the lowest possible voltage string.
By using large drivers, the driver have to move less. But just by that, you have lower distortion. Many headphone drivers are also with rigid edges, so they have diaphragms that are flexing. Our approach was that it had to be a miniature loudspeaker, so it has like a normal rolls around. We also found that in many headphones, the voice coils, most of the voice coil is sticking out the gap because there are no voice coil former. So it's very inefficient. In our case, we developed it as a loudspeaker with the former, with the coil that is sitting right in the gap. And that approach simply gave us a fantastic starting point to the IOs. The next thing we looked at was a surprise for us, that when you have a closed back headphone, it's sitting in a little plastic cavity. And we realized that nobody has any damping material in those cavities. And we were thinking like, hey, we would never do a loudspeaker without damping material inside the cabinet. So we're using the exact same damping material inside the cavity as we use behind the dome tweeters in our own production. That itself made a massive difference in the mid-band clarity. When we do loudspeakers, they gotta be really rigid, so you don't want to have any cabinet vibration masking the sound or coloring anything. In a headphone, of course, you don't have to care about that part per se, but we have made a very rigid enclosure. Also we put a rubber damper between the back of the magnet and the rear part of the enclosure. In a closed back headphone, you also want to have a really good passive noise isolation. And the better noise isolation you have, the better is the foundation for the active noise cancellation. And if you have an enclosure that is resonant, at the point where it's vibrating, there's almost zero passive noise insulation. We were taking our loudspeaker approach to it, simply to get the fundamentals right from the start. And what is really different on this is that this is the world's first headphone that is utilizing our patented SMC technology in the motor systems. SMC stands for soft magnetic compound or composite, and it's a technology that we have patented for our use in loudspeakers that significantly lowers the distortion. When we introduced and made our first prototypes of this driver with an SMC motor system, we were shocked about the clarity it introduced. So the IO-12 is a wired digital headphone and is a wired analog headphone. And basically that's because we got the acoustics right, that it works in all these different ways.
We have increased the size of the ear cups because it makes it more comfortable to wear the headphones, and it also improves noise isolation, especially because it's making a better seal here in the lower part of the ear. When different people they wear headphones, they will wear them a little bit different, all people, because the sizes of the ear or the shape of the ear can be very different. So to have the same audio performance on all ears, we get improvement by having the larger ear cups. Of course, we compare our product to competitor products, but I think the audio quality is the top feature of this headphone.
We've always had the ambition of doing the finest headphones in the world. I mean, going into headphones was never just about being part of the headphones game. It was actually to do a difference. I'm proud of this IO-12 because it shows that we're in it for the long run. IO-4 and 6 was just the beginning, and now we're coming with an improvement.